Okay guys, welcome back. Today we will go over a story named, I, a 24-year-old female, asked my sweetheart, a 41-year-old male, his contemplations on an open relationship, and he said a final farewell to me. How can I fix this? Friends, this story is about a young lady who is involved with her beau, huge age difference between the two, and as you will see, this person was an obsessive worker, consistently on his toil, and she was feeling disregarded, insufficient attention, so eventually she winds up undermining the person. She then, instead of confessing, proposes the possibility of an open relationship to get around the entire thing. You will see what occurs, how he handles it, and all that. I'm doing this one to show you one more illustration of what occurs. 1. When these young ladies propose open relationships that don't function, and when they do, it's finished. A ton of times when these ladies propose the open relationship or open marriage, it's typically on the grounds that they proactively cheated, and this way they can have a past to forge ahead with the cheating, or they have a person they truly like in place. So they can then have that person after they've controlled the poor stupid jerk to oblige this thought of open relationship or open marriage. In this story, it misfires on her. It will be a decent one to cover here, and for your relationship folks, know that assuming that your girlfriend requested this, it's finished. Try not to oblige this. What could be the thought processes behind that? The story goes on. Let me start by saying that our age gap isn't the issue here. My boyfriend is the best thing that happened to me in my grown-up life, as a result of his age, not regardless of it. Over the 2 years we've been together, I've developed as an individual, thanks to a great extent to his delicate love and overpowering help. Really, this is the way that she expresses gratitude toward him. With what we're going to hear, none of my friends in long-term relationship have anything like the sweetheart I have, and they all say they wish they did. He's more appealing and in preferred shape over a large portion of their sweethearts or than every one of their boyfriends. So if your most memorable response to this present circumstance is that some grimy old person is exploiting a youthful, credulous young lady, then you're off base. And to make things abundantly clear, I was the one that asked him out first. Please accept my apologies that appears to be protective. However, that is by all accounts the primary response to our relationship by any individual who doesn't have any acquaintance with us. Woman, no one cares. We simply need to hear the story. We are both medical attendants. He is a regulatory manager at my organization. He trained me in my initial 2 weeks at work, and we hit it off on the grounds that we both wanted to work out and shared a great deal of things, practically speaking. Nothing happened then, but I just couldn't quit contemplating him. In this way, after about a month, I came by his office after work and asked him out for espresso. 6 months later, I moved in with him. Smack. What did for nothing? 6 months. That first year was the best time I at any point had in a relationship. We voyaged, ate out, headed out to shows and films. He showed me such a great amount of existence. He would truly draw in with me and pay attention to what I needed to say. He additionally wouldn't hesitate to pose me truly intense inquiries that made me look at circumstances from another point of view. He showed me how to defend myself and compromise. The more time we spent together, the more I cherished him. Lockdown occurred. My boyfriend is flawed. So in the initial segment of this story, she's proceeding to let us know how he's the best thing ever. One significant issue he has is that he's an overbearing boss with regards to work and a compulsive worker. When the lockdown began, he began working relentless. Some of the time he would do 14 to 16 hours per day. From the end of April to the second week in June, he worked a day and a half straight. He would return home, kiss me, work out, shower and hit the hay, just to get up the following morning and do everything over once more. Well, during that time span in winter and spring of 2020, there was constant demand for clinical staff. So he was stepping up and do what he needed to do. Not to mention that he's a manager, he's 41, and he's on his drudgery. You will clearly anticipate the unavoidable griping of what happens on the grounds that he's on his toil. Men can't win if they're not really buckling down sufficient on their purpose, and that disturbs a few ladies, or they're really buckling down and not giving sufficient attention to them. That disturbs the ladies. He would just return home, blah blah blah. Nobody requested him to work that much, he simply does. According to him, he must be an advocate for the patients and ensure they're protected and taken care of. I won't lie, I got truly lonely during that time. I conversed with him about it, and he cut back some. He even began doing senseless things like requesting messy enhancements online and improving our lounge area like a Chinese eatery, ordering takeaway food from our favorite Chinese spot so it would feel like we went out. It was fun and pleasant, but I was as dead lonely. Now, to be fair here, since we generally attempt to be fair. For your relationship, guys, we generally say you have to be on your toil number one. In the event that you will do relationship, despite the fact that your motivation is number one and you know my viewpoint on what comes next, and women last. If you have any desire to keep her around, you need to basically take her out. So on the off chance that you're occupied as all heck, at least once every week you must take her out. Otherwise, crap will happen. But again, with respect to taking her out, this is likewise during the most horrendously awful dubious season of the spring of 2020, when nobody is going out in any case. Close to this time, a close buddy from secondary school reached me through Facebook. We began talking first and afterward began messaging. He was truly there for myself and showed me a great deal of attention. Sooner or later, he inquired as to whether I needed to get together for his beverages. Outside bars are now open. I said yes, since my boyfriend wasn't home. I ended up drinking more than I typically do, and in no time, we were kissing. I won't lie, it felt far better. I didn't permit it to go excessively far, so I halted it before we had, guess what? I left and returned home. I felt dreadful, down on the ground till I got it done. But since I did it behind my sweetheart's good faith, the following day, I inquired as to whether we could talk. I began by letting him know how desolate I felt for those couple of months and how I needed to ask his considerations on open relationship. So if you are so forlorn and blissful, how about you end it there? She proceeds to cheat on him, and now she needs to have open relationship so she can have the smartest possible situation. She can spend time with that fellow and get some hot dog at whatever point she needs it and have this person around to pay attention to her and be there and also live with him and likely not spend a whole lot her check on bills. He was very responsive. He plunked down with me and posed a few inquiries about our relationship and how solid did I think it was. He tuned in as I made sense of that I adored him, however required attention that he was unable to give. I needed him, however, I didn't feel like my necessities were being met, and this would be a simple and safe way for me to certainly stand out enough to get the attention I've been missing. This time briefly is like, alright, we should find out about this. She's unsettled. End of story. Try not to cheat. Don't do this horse crap of open relationship or marriage. Simply end it. These young ladies are self-centered, and again, it's advanced these days. He asked what brought this on, and I told him about my companion and how I wasn't keen on a relationship with him, yet I might want to go out with him only for some interruption from everything going on. Interpretation: I want some sausage right now. He stayed there for a few minutes, and that is the point at which I saw the hurt in his eyes. It was until that moment I understood how narrow-minded I'd been. It resembled somebody poured ice water over me. I had not once contemplated him in this full circumstance. Before I could say a word, he just said, "You need to leave." I tried to talk more, but he said he was not in a spot sincerely to speak with me effectively, and I needed to give him space. I just broke down crying. I had wrecked everything, and I hadn't even realized until that moment. He left after that and requested that I leave before he got back. Really great for this person, and by the way, friends, I want to specify that this person is a single man. He was married previously, and his wife kicked the bucket. So you could envision being through a great deal of issues, and likely perhaps he had issues drawing near to someone. Now this young lady, who's likely the first since his wife kicked the bucket, not only cheats on him, but also wants an open relationship, and clearly she's a narrow-minded a whole. Really great for him for throwing her out. Around 2 hours later, I got a text from him saying that we really needed some healthy separation, and he didn't feel like we should be in a relationship right now. That was 2 days prior. I'm in my parents' home now, and I can't eat or rest. I'm a disaster. I know I'm a numbnuts and a terrible individual, but please, on the off chance that you have any guidance on the most proficient advice to fix this, kindly assist. I'm really making myself debilitated over this, and I do not know what to try and tell him. Here are a few remarks put here. I will peruse them and afterward progress forward with the updates since they are engaging. According to one post, you cheated and didn't tell them, so you brought the possibility of an open relationship so you can lay down with your friend and have it be okay, but at the same time staying quiet. Then when he figured out you were thinking about an open relationship to make sure you can bang your friend, and he lashed out just part. The main part that seems okay is him lashing out. However, you screwed up long before that part. The story proceeds, at that time with my friend, I swear I didn't view it as cheating. I truly felt that what I was doing was right, until I saw a glance at my boyfriend's eyes and acknowledged I hadn't pondered my sweetheart or his sentiments once the whole time I had been conversing with my friend. Call me outdated, but in the event that you have a sweetheart and you begin making out with some other chick, it's cheating on her or the opposite way around. I'm nauseated with myself. Is there a method for moving toward this with my sweetheart to assist me with forgiving him? No, there's none. Forgive me. According to another person, this really is strict. The age distinction, not in years, but rather the distinction in maturity level. You had a superb relationship with a similarly great man. However, you couldn't be a grown-up when things got intense, so you cheated on the grounds that he didn't focus on you. That is the most ridiculous reason for cheating I've heard. Well, that is normal when ladies feel like they're not getting enough attention or their needs aren't being met, and that implies for attention, she'll need to venture out. However, as long as things were turning out well for you were cheerful, yet when things got a little intense you cheated. He was working, not out celebrating with companions or sitting on a PC messing around the entire day ignoring you. Managing the pandemic to give you soundness and a warm cherishing home, and on second thought of behaving like a grown-up in a mature relationship and supporting him, you cheated, and not just that, you state you felt horrendous not on the grounds that you got it done, but because you did despite your boyfriend's good faith. Your guilt ought to align to the fact that you even thought about it, then finish it. You're excessively immature and narcissistic to try and grasp the genuine issue. Better believe it, you wrecked significantly, and you're a juvenile dolt. He deserves better than you. Gain from this. Attempt to truly take a gander at this and sort out for what reason you're so narcissistic, and to see precisely exact thing it means to commit to one person, one relationship. Be that as it may, for the love, let him be. He's perceived the truth about you. Move on. Better believe it, she's excessively damn youthful and egotistical. Welcome to the dating universe of the 2020. She answers, this is very useful. You are correct. I need to sort out what permitted me to shut any thought for my boyfriend out from my brain when it came to conversing with my friend. I thought my activities were right. I didn't view it as cheating. I had truly screwed up. Who in their right mind could think making out with another person isn't cheating? Now an update to her circumstance. It's been north of 7 days. He called me last Tuesday and said he needed to talk. I was both terrified and ecstatic on the grounds that I accepted the advice people gave me and gave him some space. We hadn't talked since the Saturday before, and I missed him like frantic. He says he needs to meet me at my parents' home, and I agreed, despite the fact that I believed that was somewhat bizarre. When he maneuvered into the driveway, he sent me a message requesting that I come outside. I went out to meet him, and he was standing in front of his vehicle. I promptly saw that he had somebody in the vehicle with him, and I just stalled. I realized what was coming, and I would have rather not confronted it. He was so kind. He aided me onto the patio where we both sat on the steps. He said that he loved me, but my actions proved to him that we were in two different places in our lives, and he won't keep me down any longer. He said he realized I needed to live more and appreciate life before settling down. He was sorry for keeping me down for such a long time. This person shouldn't apologize for anything. He expressed gratitude toward me for the best 2 years since his wife passed on. I needed to set all the way down and pass on right there. I just cried. It's everything I could do. My father at long last emerged and helped me back into the house. He returned out and conversed with my boyfriend for a brief period. I don't recall how long because I was close crazy by then. This young lady's a twit who welcomed this on herself. She did. My mother gave me something to assist me come down. My dad returned and he murmured something to my mother. She helped me higher up to my room. I laid there for some time until I heard somebody pull up into the driveway. I looked out and saw the moving truck and moved in. He had all of my things at our place packed together and conveyed to my parents' home. So I figured I would give you each of a glance to the end of the world. You were correct then. I'm a terrible individual and I deserve this. But it actually harms me down very much. Well, she brought this on herself, and hopefully she learns an intense lesson that meaningfully has an impact on her ways. Nevertheless, I'm exceptionally dubious given the condition of the world and how things are these days. For any of you folks that do relationships, remember if your girlfriend wants to do open relationship or marriage, it's finished. It is a decent bet that there is one more fella in the waiting. It is possible that he's as of now hooking up with your wife or spouse, or it's just around the corner. So it's ideal to leave and deal with it very much like that. Good folks, that is all there is to it for now. Make certain to comment down below, let me in on your opinion on this, and make certain to like the video and subscribe. I'll get you sometime later.